Thank you for staying with us. It's time now to take a look at stories making headlines on the front page of Nigerian newspapers. And I begin with the Blueprint newspaper. The major story here: attack on Trump beyond pale of democratic norms. President Bola Tinubu speaking there. The riders bomb substances found in suspect Crude's car home. Biden, Macron, others condemn assassination attempt. Another story here: those agitating for Nigeria's divisions are dreamers. Barate Jimwis warns against protests. Flow stations metering contracts will improve transparency in oil gas. Lukobiri is speaking. Some stories on the front page of the Blueprint newspaper. We'll move now to the front page of the New Telegraph. Insecurity. Military security agencies must develop human intel network. Ex-DSS directors are speaking. And the rider there: capacity, not intelligence lacking. Ejiofor, as Amakri warns Boko Haram terrorists returning to suicide bombing. All right, another story here. Cooking gas price rises as 12.5 kg refill hits 14,500. Hardship consumer loans surged by 44.98% to 3.82 trillion naira. All right, some stories on the front page of the New Telegraph. We'll move now to the front page of the Daily News Hub. Local government autonomy, not yet Uhuru. The riders there: Senator warns battle not over, governors will fight back. Shows National Assembly will amend Constitution, says will compel state governments to adhere strictly to Supreme Court judgment. Algana plus Tinubu, AGF over Apex Court verdict. EFCC red notice: Yahaya Bello trapped in Kogi government house. Interesting development there. And another story here: NSA Robadu hands over rescued Kaduna journalists to minister as Idris commends security agencies. Some of the stories you find on the front page of the Daily News Hub. To the Daily Times newspaper now. Most states not viable. We don't need more. Agbakuba speaking. Urges lawmakers, other political stakeholders to focus on restructuring Nigeria to regional governments. IGP orders suspension of ECMR enforcement, seeks understanding, support of Nigerians, residents to key into ECMR system. And the downstrip: Kaduna airstrikes destroy terrorist hideouts in Giwa, Igabi local government areas. That's what the spokesperson is saying. And the picture there is that of former U.S. President Donald Trump surrounded by U.S. Secret Service agents as he's been helped off stage after the shooting attempt on him during a campaign rally there. And the expedite action on minimum wage, Naat tells Tinubu. Those are some of the stories you find on the front page of the Daily Times. To the Daily Trust newspaper now. 6 years after Abuja-Kaduna Road project uncompleted. And right there, myriad of potholes causing vehicle crashes. Commuters demand urgent government action to be completed in 12 months, Works Minister speaking. Samoa report: Ombudsman writes Daily Trust, asks for response. NNPCL now owns only 7.2% of Dangote Refinery. That's what Aliko Dangote has said. Some stories on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper. To the Abuja Inquirer now. Tension as federal government predicts heavy floods in Garki, Gwagwalada. Administration alerts residents, warns of cholera spread. Another story here. Fuel crisis, subsidy removal achieved nothing. Nance slams Tinubu. Why we capped our investment in Dangote Refinery, NNPCL's response there. And another story: Trump shooting issue travel advisory on political violence. Nigerians taunt America. All right, those are some stories you find on the front page of the Abuja Inquirer. To the Daily Independent. Harsh environment slows telcos investment, impacts service quality. And on the story here, court orders ministry to disclose details of pact between federal government and X. Why Lagos may reinstate monthly environmental sanitation by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. And another story here, Rivers Assembly crisis, PDP denies filing appeal challenging High Court order. And finally, on talking sports, Spain defeat England 2-1 to win Euro 2024 final. Those are some stories you find on the front page of the Daily Independent. Olamide.
And I begin here with the leadership. The big story here says stakeholders prefer stiffer penalties for drug abuse, trafficking. The rather there says 14.3 million Nigerians abuse drugs, 10.6 million hooked on cannabis. Nigeria must wage a decisive war against drug abuse, the UN says, and NDLEA seizes 7.6 million kilograms of illicit substances. Another story here says court orders federal government to disclose agreement with X. That's on the Twitter ban. NNP says stake in our refinery is 7.2%. Dangote is saying. PDP wins all seats in Adamawa Delta. On the local government polls and on the Samoa agreement, Ombudsman confirms federal government's complaints against Daily Trust. The major stories on the front page of the leadership. To the nation, the big story here says banks' credit to private sector rises to 74.31 trillion naira. Experts extend more loans to MSMEs. NBA asks police stay action on CMR enforcement. Petrol to roll out from Dangote Refinery next month. To the Punch, Dangote lists refinery shares March, supplies petrol August. Dangote eyes fertilizer supply to African countries in 2 weeks. Plans 70% of group's revenue in Forex. President Tinubu world leaders condemn assassination attempt on Trump. That's on page 12 of the Punch. CBN drops BDC's operators in $123 million sale. The major stories on the front page of the Punch. To the first news, Dangote Refinery also supplies petrol in August amid challenges from IOCs. EFCC chair exposes some religious groups more corrupt than public officials. Lagos government insists on enforcing ban on Danfo's Korope's on the 1st of October. Violence has no place in democracy. President Tinubu is condemning the assassination attempt on Trump. NDLEA says cocaine opiates concealed in shoes, custard containers. Jonathan urges completion of abandoned projects in the Niger Delta. To the Salient Times, 7 years after Lagos resumes monthly sanitation cancelled by Ambode's government. Disclose details of federal government agreement with Twitter. Court orders information ministry. You have no right to question us. The police to the NBA on the 6,000 CMRIS certificate. NDLEA uncovers cocaine tramadol hidden in shoes and custard containers. The major stories on the front page of the Salient Times. To the Nigerian News Direct, it goes beyond democratic norms. Distasteful. President Tinubu is condemning the attack on Donald Trump. Court orders Lai Mohammed to disclose details of agreement between the federal government and X. Another story here says fire destroys 15 shops, goods worth millions in Ogun Market. Dangote to list refinery, fertilizer plant on stock market first quarter 2025. The runner there says he also laments $500 million loss over petrochemical facility delay in Ogun State. As NNPC Limited unable to pay for 20% stake. The federal government also partners private sector to bridge $50 million funding gap and TB by 2030. The major stories on the front page of Nigerian News Direct. to This Nigeria, duty-free food import policy depressing, additional tells the federal government. As economists, farmers also commend the federal government's import duty suspension on food. Who wants Trump dead? That's the big question on the front page of This Nigeria. The image here shows the Republican presidential candidate and former President Donald Trump being rushed off stage after a shooting during a rally. NEMA DJ6 strict adherence to building codes. Victims of Kubwa collapse rescued alive, according to the CP. On the cholera outbreak, Lagos Task Force arrest 8 over contaminated turkey in Ekpe. That's on page 12 of This Nigeria. NEF kills scores of terrorists in airstrikes in Kaduna. These are the major stories on the front page of This Nigeria. To the national economy. Nigeria's crude oil output may worsen further. The writer there says, as hostile environment scares away investors, country's output drops to 1.2 million barrels per day. A feature story here is also assessing the telecom sector's performance in the first quarter of 2024. Oil-producing countries brainstorm on takeoff of $5 billion African Energy Bank. The major stories on the front page of the national economy. To the Vanguard, consumer spending down as Nigerians remain gloomy on economy. Weak spending triggers decline in e-payment transactions. Value of e-payment falls 5.7% to 92.8 trillion naira. The firms also reduce output expansion due to low consumer spending. UK court dismisses PNID appeal, upholds €43 million award in favor of Nigeria. NBA gives the IG 7 days to stop ECMR certificate issuance. Well, these are the major stories on the front page of the Vanguard. To the Platform Times, Lagos Ogun lead internet usage as Southwest dominates in the first quarter of 2024. Minister to Abacha's son, oil blocks belong to the federal government. IPOB issues warning to Southeast governors over grazing reserves. And Kaduna Hajj official returns funds worth 4 million naira in Jeddah. And a CDC arrests 3 women for pipeline vandalism, oil theft in Rivers State. These are the major stories on the front page of the Platform Times. And finally, to the Sporting Life, Arsenal reach agreement to sign Seth Ford. Everton reach agreement also with Spurs over payment for Ali. And on the Spain results, Spain 2-1 England, heartbreak for 3 Lions. Oyarzabal's late win at hands La Roja's 4th title. The hunt for first major trophy since 1966 goes on. Williams wins Euro 2024 final Portum Award. Yamal is a young player of the tournament. Rodri named player of the tournament. So these are the major stories on the front page of the Sporting Live, Veronica.
All right, it's a healthy mix of stories on the front pages this morning, ranging from Trump's attack to also matters of security, where the military is saying that there is the need to develop human intelligence network, and also talking about local government autonomy, how they're saying that it is not yet Uhuru. There is the need to still speak with governors to ensure that what is necessary is done. This matter of autonomy is even though the courts have, the Supreme Court has, made its own pronouncement, it is left to states who are saying they are in support of whatever the courts have said. But there are those who are still saying that it's sounding like they do not trust these
Well,
governors.
the governors are having a meeting on that recent ruling by the Supreme Court. Let's not forget that there was a provision already in the Constitution, and
Absolutely.
the Supreme Court only just validated what should have been, what governors should have been doing in the first place. And so for the meeting on the local government autonomy, we're just going to wait for what they agree at the meeting. But for a few of the governors that have spoken about it, most of them are in support. Are you saying that just openly?
Well, from the statements I'm seeing from the papers, for instance, Ulisa Agbakogba is saying, okay, move beyond that. Let's start looking at regional government. Then there are those who are saying, you look at the paper, I saw a paper this morning where it said it's not yet Uhuru. Daily News Hub said not yet Uhuru. Senators wants battle not over. Governors will fight back. Senators are the ones saying, it's not me, I'm quoting what they said here. They are the ones. So the issue of trusting the governors to deliver on what, like you said, what the Supreme Court just, validated, what is the provisions of the Constitution, that's what they're saying. They know themselves. They know if the governors will do the needful. Yes, there are those who have, started talking about, okay, there's a need to, let's have the local government election as it is, speaking to the state electoral commissions as a SEC to put things in place and ensure there is an election in place. Those that had a committee in place instead of local government chairman and all of it, they have started speaking. But there are those who are still saying these people will still be maneuvered by the governors.
They're probably reacting to that because when this case was about to start, when the EGF filed this case, they also sent their lawyer to counter the suit, saying that the federal government really has no business, has no legal right in this case, and that's why they're reacting to that. This has, brought a lot of, subject. We've talked about even the legitimacy of the State Electoral Commission. If you understand that the local government is the third tier of government, and so their elections should be conducted by INEC and not even the State Electoral Commission, which in most cases are still under the whims and caprices of
So we are testing our laws at the end of the day to see what we can get from it. It's all about our democracy and how we can strengthen our institutions.